Hello and welcome to another episode of Code Break. I am Raymond Camden, and I am absolutely in my spooky vibes era. Very excited to be almost at Halloween. It is, I had to look 20 seconds, like 9 days left until Halloween. I think I mentioned last time, both my wife and I go all out. Like we have a big thing out in the front yard. She's had her outfit for probably a couple months. I've had mine for a little bit longer because I had the idea and I Amazoned it real quick. Um, this is not what I'm wearing for Halloween. This is just my formal Halloween gab. But hopefully, if you follow me on social media, I will share a picture that day. I'm not talking about who I'm dressing up as. It's going to be a surprise. I do know that I am saying goodbye to the beard, unfortunately, but it does grow back incredibly quick. So it's not that big of a deal. Uh, but I would love to know, those of you who are in the room, anybody and everybody, what are you planning on dressing up as for Halloween? And if your answer is, "Oh, I'm far too mature for that," then you're in the wrong stream. I gotta tell you that. You're definitely in the wrong place for that. No, honestly, it's work to do all the costumes and stuff like that. So I understand if you're not dressing up, but if you are watching this, or heck, even if you're watching the recording later, drop in a comment. Tell me what you plan to dress up as. I had kind of considered having some pictures ready to go from previous years, but 3 years ago, I was Cobra Commander. Found a great costume on Amazon, full body, all that. Got the helmet right behind me on the floor. You can kind of see at the very bottom, right by Cat Demo Jedi. Um, I wasn't supposed to have two titles there. I'll have to fix that some other time. 2 years ago, I was a tiger, and my wife was, I'm drawing a blank, the one that the Tiger King hated. Carol Baskin, that's who she was. And last year, the entire family did the Adams family, except one kid who wanted to be a ninja, which was fine. Uh, that was one of the few times we did like a theme thing as a family, but really looking forward to Halloween, and I will say hi right back at Sue. Sue, I think you've been at every single one of these presentations, and I 100% you chiming in. At least, if I'm talking to one person, that's enough. So, great. Yep. Like I said, I think a lot. In fact, I honestly, I have a outfit I wanna get for next year already planned out, and I'll probably start looking in February and March or so. Only issue with that is that I have not done a good job of, losing weight, so there's always that concern of I bought something in March, and it fit in March, is it gonna fit in October? We'll see. Um, but that's enough about Halloween. Y'all didn't come here to talk about Halloween. Maybe you did. That's all right. Let's get into it. And I'm going to do that thing where I share my screen and y'all have to just stand by for a second. Let me move this over here. Home saw like that. And switch it to the right view. Booyah. All right. So before I begin, a quick shout out to my sponsor, Jam. They are a free screen recording browser extension that auto includes things in DevTools. So if you've ever had to have a non technical person remotely try to explain to you what's going on, Jam could be incredibly helpful by gathering all that stuff that they don't know about and just including it in a bug report. Jam has integration with Jira, Asana, Notion, GitHub, and others. Definitely check it out. And again, my thanks. I think it's been like 4 or 5 months now that they've been sponsoring this. Makes me feel like like a real streamer that actually have people doing stuff, sponsoring. So if you remember, last time we talked about JavaScript charting, and I had gone on Google and pretty much picked the first one I found. And I worked through a couple examples of building that. If you don't, or if you missed that last one, you could check out the playlist that this video is on to see the previous recording. But what I had done is I had taken some fake data, some data that I had crafted up, and from that, I let me rephrase. I made some fake data that was supposed to represent a API call. In this case, one that was getting sales information. I had four products: apples, bananas, cherries, and donuts, and then I had totals. And I just went through like a year of that data. And what I did was I used Chart.js, and I wanted to do three kinds of charts. I wanted to show, sales over each month, and at first just total sales, and then sales per product, and then I built a pie chart, and we did all of that in 1 hour with Chart.js. It wasn't hard at all. One of the things I mentioned then that I was worried about is that I have worked with some client-side charting libraries where they're really particular about like how you give them the data. And I was worried about how much work I'd have to do, like translating the API data, again, it's a fake API, to what Chart.js did. And just like as an example from that previous folder, this was my pie chart. I had to do like 10, yeah, 10 lines of code essentially to take my API data and make it okay for the pie chart. That was pretty easy. That's one example. I think this one was, you know what? Instead of saying think, let's actually open this up so you can see charts one, dub, and you should pop open in. There we go. So let's do chart three. Yeah, so this is the one that used the line chart. It did all my drawing. And if we look at this, let me scroll this down a little bit. You can see line 27 is where I was getting the data from my API. Again, fake. And then on line 31, I start doing my data manipulation. That goes up to line 49. So, uh, 30 to 50, 20-ish lines of code or so before I handed it off to the chart library. I think that's pretty good. That's kind of my metric. Uh, I will randomly show Brownnet. Hopefully, I'm saying your name right. Have you thought of 3D printing as an outfit? I had a 3D printer. I still have it. It never worked properly for me. I tried like heck. I even asked a neighbor kid of mine who's real smart to help me, and my 3D printer did one good print, and then like four or five messed up prints that I could never figure out what the heck was going wrong. Reminded me a lot of burning CDs back in the day. When CD burners first came out, and you were so excited that you can make your own custom CDs. If you like breathed in the same room as a CD burner, it would trip up and break. So I've not had the best experience in 3D printing. I'm not ready to give up per se. I just don't know if I have the mental capacity to make it work. I would love to print, like my whole office is filled with crap. I would love to print more crap, more, like Star Trek ships and stuff like that. Just haven't gotten to it. So that was the previous experience. Again, Chart.js. I was able to get three charts, okay, and it wasn't painful at all. So let's try a new one, right? So I'm on my Google search for JavaScript charting. Chart.js was the first. High charts I've used before. I want to keep scrolling just because I don't know. I'm just curious. Um, let's take a look at high charts. So I will say I'm interested in one that is 100% free and open source. Like that's my only real requirements. So we make it easy for developers to create. This is high charts. Try it for free. So that means you cost money. And yes, I will take all your cookies. What is your lot like? See pricing. Let's see what it is. Select the license type. There is no free tier, it looks like. So we're just gonna say no to high charts. We could look at library articles about JavaScript libraries, but let's not do that. Let's try this one. Charts. I don't think I've heard of. JavaScript charts and maps. I love maps, so that sounds interesting. Came here to find your next charting library. Good. Lots of clients. This is also not free, but let's see what kind of tier it has. Um, Looks like no free tier as well. Bye-bye. How about oh, this is another list of charting libraries. Let's try, let's try Canvas.js. I'm pretty sure I have in the past. HTML5 JavaScript charting library. Haven't seen HTML5 called out in a long time, but there you go. Well documented. That's always important. And as far as I could tell, this is free. And let's see what the license is like. Below license, come with 1 year. So let's guess this is also not free. Uh, okay, I guess noted this as well. And to be clear, I'm not opposed to people charging for stuff. I just don't want to pay anything to play around with it. So let's look at We Are Developers top 7 JavaScript charting libraries. Probably going to see some of the same names. Yes, I will take all the cookies once and forever. Chart.js we just used, so we know it's good. D3, D3 I have used in the past, but I remember it being incredibly complex. Um, I'm just gonna say no, just because I feel like D3 is like the 747 option, and I'm looking for like a Cessna type simple one. High charts is the only paid library. That's good, so we could skip it. And recharts, economical and clean. Nothing stunning. That's a fine. I don't need to be stunning. And you know what? I've never heard of recharts, so that sounds like a great thing to try. Looks like it's using web component or built on React. No, I don't want to use React. Yeah, nope. We are striking out. Again, nothing against React, but I don't want to use React. Mermaid is only for diagrams. I know it's not really for charts, so we'll skip that. Uh, Google Charts. I didn't think that they were still around. Let's take a look at that real quick. We may have to punt and just do something else. Um, about Google Charts. Yeah, free, completely free, and okay. You know, uh, Google, I think I mentioned this in my last one. Google used to have a chart as a URL image service, which I thought was really cool as heck. If you were okay with the non-interactive chart, like for email or some other form, you could literally craft a chart in a URL and it would generate it. That was pretty neat. I haven't seen that for a long time, but we're gonna go with this. My buddy Scott is recommending ZingChart. I'm pretty sure they are not free, Zing, but I have used them in the past. Let's see. So what can do try it for free or CR pricing? Like I'm okay with pricing, but if there's no like personal free use, I'm gonna say no. Yeah, I'm just gonna say no to that. There's a free license, he says. He says that, but is he right? Let's see what tried for free says. Um Lots of docs. I'm not saying a you can do this on free versus what you can't do for free. Okay, there we go. The powered by ZingChart watermark will appear on all charts, must be visible on when using the free license. Okay, I am behind that. Uh Google Charts or Zing Charts? I'm gonna ask y'all. Let me hide your comment there, Scott. Y'all have 60 seconds, and I know that y'all are a bit behind on the stream, which is okay. But y'all tell me which chart would you pick? Google Charts, or Zing Charts? And we will give it 60 seconds. And if I get 2 votes, I'm probably gonna call it done, and we'll see what happens. Got 1 vote for Zing Chart. Let's get 1 more vote, and hopefully it won't be a tie. Worst comes to worst, I'll do a 3rd one for a Google Chart. Oh, that's 2, and I'm counting Scott as a vote. And so Sue is 3, Mark is 4, and yeah, okay. So bye-bye, Google. I think you'll be okay. I know you make a little bit of money, so you should be fine. We are going to do Zing Chart. So let's go to the getting started. Whoa, that's a bad first impression. All right. So what I'm going to do is copy and paste that into a new tab. And later on, after the session, I will reach out to them to report to the 404. But if you go back to the homepage, try it for free. There we go. All right. So I am fine copying. Oh, so again, based on last week, I made a file called base.html, and all it does is have an init function when the document loads and all that. And it loads in my API data, and then I'm good to go. So I typically use this. And so we are going to kill the web server, go into charts2. We're going to cp base.html to zing1.html and open up that. And this is the one where we will drop in that script tag, Comsa, like that. Let me go and give us a bit more space here so y'all can actually read. Make the text even bigger because why not? And start our web server from here. And there we go. And we have nothing. Open up DevTools like that. All right, let's go back to the docs. And I got too many open here. Let's do this. All right. So I installed. Great. And got to see. All right, add your chart wrapper. This is just like chart.js. So let's go here and actually minimize this a little bit. We'll drop in a div. And doesn't say I have to size it, so I won't. So we got the div, and then include the library in your HTML document, then render your chart. All right, this is going to work just fine. I will be a bit annoying. So working in DevRel, I constantly look at how docs are done and stuff. And the fact that in the instructions, it told you to npm install or use a CDN. And then here at the bottom, it includes a script tag again. That annoys me a little bit, but I will forgive them. And we'll copy just the JavaScript code and we'll drop it in. And again, we're not using our data here. That's all right. I just want to make sure that the chart actually shows up. And I could guess it's a line chart with 2 series. And we have, woot, we have a chart. And let's go ahead and size this. I'll do it in a style tag. Make this a little bit not so crazy. We'll say my chart width 500 px, height 500 px. Can't type live, reload. And there we go. It's a little too small, but we could tweak it later. So the basics work. So I'm going to do like I did last time, and I'm just going to I'm just going to try using my data without reading any more docs because why not? So I don't have any labels. Let's get back to I don't have any labels, but that's all right. Let's see if I can get the sales data in there. And I already have, you know what? If it's just an array for each line, I could take my 4 sets of totals and just chart all them, right? So I am going to first take a quick look at console.log sales, save it, and we'll go back. You know what? Actually, let me do this number. Look at that. And can we use DevTools pane? Look, oh my God. No, why are you way over here? Nope. That's all right. Let's not do that because I want to be able to see my DevTools. All right. It is an array of sales. And I have 12 items, date and items. And what I want to do is I want to reduce that array to just the apples. And we did this last time. In fact, I could probably take the same logic I used last time. Trying to remember how I did this. Yep, I'm going to take this exact same code, which is basically iterating over based on some hard coded product names and creating my array of sales. So I'm going to take that, drop it in here. So what this will do is chart data. The first element will be all the Apple data, and then bananas and cherries, then donuts. So in theory, chart data will be a 2D array of 4 items, he said, being very sure. Sales data is not defined. What did I do over here? Oh, I just called it. I see what I did. Yep. All right. Sales data. Because underneath sales data is the dot sales element. So now go over here and boom, I have a label and the data. Don't think I want a label. I just want a 2D array. So actually, I need something a little bit simpler for right now. Uh, Probably I'm going to need something like this so I could do series labels and stuff like that. But if I just want the numerical values, then in theory, I could say let product data and point it to that map. It's totally going to work. So that should be an array, and I'm going to add that to product data. So again, my thinking is 2D array, just the numbers, save it, and let's see, 4 arrays of numbers. Cool. So in theory, all I got to do now, and this is a little bit messy, but get rid of that and just actually chart data. This is totally going to work. Totally. And boom, it did not work at all. So Control Z. Oh, yeah, each one is prepended with a value. So we are going to do this. This is messy code, but that in theory, now I could do chart data. And yes, look at that. That wasn't too hard. Of course, there's no labels. But again, this, like I keep saying, my concern is how much work do I have to do to get the data in the right format? Let me get rid of some of these comments to make it a little bit simpler. This was not hard at all. So I called my API. I took the initial structure, I kind of remapped it. Again, I'm using hard coded product names. I could make it really dynamic instead. I'm also assuming that every month has a report for that particular product. Those are all assumptions that could bite me in the rear later, but I'm okay with that. But essentially, I converted it into an array of objects that has a values key, and that is what ZingChart wanted. So that was 10 minutes, 15 minutes, not bad at all. Next thing I want to do is get some labels in there. Let's click on more details. And hey, there we go. That's a bar chart, but yeah, I want labels. So let's see. Click on edit and oh, so Scott was mentioning interactive chart builder. Yeah, I wonder if this is a yeah, I'm not sure I'd call this a chart builder. It's more like an interactive viewer kind of but I just want to look at the data, and that's a lot more than I thought it was going to be. So what did we call it over here? We call it data and oh series. And if we look at their code, ha, they added a text and a specific background color. So in theory, it may be as just as easy as adding the text value. So let's see. Save this. I'm going to make a copy. That way, when I break it, it won't be quite as broken. Zing 2. And I've already forgotten the last 5 seconds. It was text. So if we go down to here, can't I just do text would be key? So this is Zing 2. So in theory, reload Zing 2. All right. Did not show up, but let's go back, look at the code. I bet you I have to somehow tell it to actually, show my labels. Uh, Plot looks to be all about animation. Not worried about that. Scaling, I get, but again, not worried about that. Legend draggable equals true. Why don't I guess I could see dragging that if you wanted to see it. Um, but curiously enough, I don't see anything that like enables showing the legend. But for the heck of it, I'm gonna do legend draggable equals true because maybe the presence of legend draggable equals true. So let's see what happens. No luck, no errors either. All right. Let's try adding a title. Let's try making one thing change. I'm almost worried that I'm not saving the file. Let's put this here. And we won't call it hello world. This is product sales. And let's see if we can at least get product sales to show up. I can't get anything to work. I'm probably doing something really dumb and stupid. Yep, I am in the right file. All right, so that's not working. Let's see. Yeah, oh, this is what happens when you don't really read the docs. All that config stuff was under data. So bam, if I move title under here, we'll do one thing at a time. And it's bugging me that it's not lined up right. You know what? I'm gonna get over it. So in theory now, I should have a title. Boom. And let's see if the same thing works for legend. And because it's just bugging me, we will do that. Make it look a little bit nicer. So let's see if legend being there is, that's all it needs. So I almost, you know what? I almost wonder. Oh, yeah, I must have oh, that's kind of nice. So I wonder if I turn off draggable and just keep it there. If just the presence will show a legend. Yep. All right. That wasn't too hard. And I like that it's interactive baked in. Excuse me. So that wasn't too hard at all. Uh, so last time I did do a line chart or a bar chart that was total sales, and I want to do that again. I want to do that with no legend per se, but we will Control C, Control V, and rename this to Zing 3. And if I'm going to have one series, then all I need to do is have chart data be like a one, have it be just a 1D array. And all it's going to be is each month I'm going to add the total amount for that product. Right. So I need to map over. You know what? I don't need product names. No, I just need to go over every item of sales data. So sales data sales will be an array. So we'll just do let I equals 0, I less than sales data dot sales, I plus plus, and we are going to combine all the products, and that's in an items field, and sales data dot sales dot items for this month. And we're going to say let total equals 0. And so again, this is per month. We're going to add to it total. So this is adding the 4 products. And then when we're done, we add that to part data. All right. That, so too much in my brain. All right. So every month we're iterating over sales data.sales. So it's 12 times. In there is a items field that has 4 things, the product name and the product total. So I'm just adding to a total. At the end, total is equal to the sales per month. And I push that into my array. So that can stay the same, the series, because it's a series of 1. All right. And we'll make it a bar chart because we're only doing 1 series. And in theory, that should be it. Let's see. I'm so full of confidence, you could tell. Boop. I messed up. Oh, I did not. Did I? Oh, tell me you know JavaScript. I am iterating over the length of the array. Yep. Y'all are seeing in real time why I failed the Google live coding test thing. Where is P? It said P was not defined. Oh, no, we're not doing any ifs. We're just always adding every product like that. All right. Now, for sure. Oh, it is. Nope, I know what it is. It's not 12 items. It's one array of 12 values. So that's definitely going to work. Except it's all zeros. Let's see. Make sure I know exactly what I'm doing. Console.log total 0. I'm going to console.log sales data dot sales I, and that should be a product name and the items for each, right? Items. So I'm definitely iterating over items. What the heck is product? Should be total. Yeah. So product dot total. So total. I am failing the basics today. I I don't even know what that would do. I guess it would execute the expression and immediately throw away the value. So it's valid JavaScript, but what I meant to say is plus equal, and now I have values. Cool. So only thing is not working is that it's not actually rendering right. So let me look back at my first one, and actually not even that. You know what? Let's go back to the very first example, the hello world, and oh, it's kind of messy. Let's look at this. Oh, values. Yep. Values. Nope, not that. Not that. This needs to be an object, and I could give a text for a label, but I'm not worried about that. And now, 100%, it's going to work. Boom. Great. Not terribly exciting. I'm going to get rid of my legend because it is all the same. Although I could do sales per month. Yeah. Does that look all right? Yeah, that looks okay. Thank you for rolling with this. And then the next thing I want to do is actually render out um, good labels. So I have no idea how to do labels. We still have this random example here, and scale X, and the labels are the months. All right. Not sure. Not sure about label versus labels. But you know what? We'll try labels for the heck of it. So we will go in here like that. Oops. And this is going to break. Let's just do labels. And you know what? We'll say 2024. See what that does. And go back. Oh, and it works. Cool. So I know I had code in the previous one where I got just the month labels. So I'm going back to my old code because why not? Yep, there we go. I iterated over each and I got the dates. So go back to Zing, go back up here to where I'm working with data, and that should be it. All right, so chart labels. There should be an array of 2024 to 2 slash 2024 and so forth. In theory, as simple as that. Boom. Yeah, no, it's kind of cool. You can see here, it kind of like gave up a little bit. It didn't have enough space. Let's give this a bit more space. Let's say 750. See how it does. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Still not enough. It may have an option to kind of slant things down so it fits a little better. You would think that'd be, excuse me, automatic, but it's not. But yeah, I will take that. Not sure why I would want that, but maybe we can disable toggling. But there's one more example. So let's, for the heck of it, let's try to find a pie chart example. Chart types, and we will go into pie. This is kind of a fun set of data. 8 years ago, Internet Explorer was still 11.4%. So thank God that is gone now. So before I even look at this code, first thing I'm going to do is make sure I get my um, total sales per product done. We had that before, but I want to kind of just quickly confirm that that code is still working for me over here. So I have zing4.html, and I'm going to get rid of all of this and look at chart.js 4, which was my pie chart. And I did it. I still use labels, and I did it like that, where I had an array. Yep, I had an array. Yeah, this is the code I kind of copied from before and just got rid of. I think product names. Trying to make sense here. So total is an array. Yeah, so it's literally just a 4-item array where the first item should be the total for apples. Yeah, that's going to work just fine. But we're going to console.log that before we do anything. And we already have one there, but we will go like this. And for the heck of it, so I get no errors and zing, let's return. And let's just make sure that we have a 4-item array. And that was zing 4. And yes, we do. Yep, 4-item array. Okay, so now I'll actually look at the pie chart example. I want the quick. Oh, here we go. I'll just do edit again, and we'll look. That's a lot of config. I tell you, I don't like how long they wait to actually render the data. I wonder if there's that animation could be tweaked. Doesn't matter. All right. Looks like it's following a similar thing where I have an array of series, and each one has a values, although in this case the values is 1, and the text for the thing. So I could, instead of pushing just a total to make it match, and this is pretty much, I think, the exact same code I did before. Values equals an array of 1, and the text is the product name, P. So save that, go back and look at my thing, and should have 4 objects, text and values. Yeah, that may be it. That may be it. Let's close this. The main difference is what? Somewhere I say type equals pi. Where is that? Way up high. All right. Type, get rid of that return. We know we're working. Type equals pi and chart data again. Yeah, we're not doing this. We're doing this. And in theory, we have, oh, look at that. Again, like I would not recommend working the way I do. I'm just kind of guessing and copying and pasting. For random examples, I would expect that you would take plenty of time and to carefully read, etc. But 40-ish minutes, we have 3 charts done, and this is nice. I tell you, I kind of like. I'm sure we could tweak this. I really like that it shows the percentage, and then you mouse over for the total. I could see both ways on that, but I think the percentage is the biggest thing that you probably care about here. You can visibly see that donuts is winning, but yeah, I like seeing that percentage. I'm pretty darn happy with this. Yeah, that's even cool too. The clickable. Yeah, so that's 45 minutes. That's getting everything I wanted done with Zing. We have a few minutes left. Any objection to me kind of pivoting and showing something with charts and Gen AI? And while the stream goes and you hear a little bit later, I'll wait to see for a comment and drink some water. And I am assuming the answer is going to be yes, and I'm going to start going over there anyway. Let me find. Oh, by the way, before I leave here, before I leave here, as a reminder, all of this code, including the charts from the first library, the first example last session, and this session, will be up on GitHub. This one will be in a charts 2 folder. I will do a git commit and push soon after we end this particular session. But that is where you can find all this code. All right. I got one vote for showing some Gen AI stuff, so I am going to do it. Let me first give credit where credit is due. And what I'm going to show is I showed in a blog post, but I couldn't show live. Elizabeth Siegel did a great demo using Cloudflare Workers AI stuff and WNBA analytics, where she built this dashboard that you're going to see. And in it, it has AI built into it. So you get regular, charts and stuff like that, but you can just click and it's going to ask Cloudflare workers to talk to Gen AI and get some insights into the data, which I think is really freaking cool. It also has like a chat Q&A about it as well. I don't know enough about basketball to ask intelligent questions, but I just think it's cool as heck. So I took some of the charts. Let me get stuff up here proper and switch over to my Gen AI testing zone, and hopefully I have nothing hidden that I can't show. We'll go into chart demo 1. All right. Let me run this demo first. So I took one of the chart.js charts. And what I did was I added some AI to it. Let me run it and then I'll show you what I mean. So 3000 localhost 3000. So again, this is chart.js, and this is the same sales data that I've already shown. And I asked Google's Gemini Gen AI API basically to talk about this data, which I thought was freaking awesome. It's kind of obvious, like, hey, I can look at the chart and I can see donuts are on the rise. I can see that, yeah, apples do peak towards the end. Uh, but just the way that AI talked about it and say, hey, maybe it's a holiday season thing. Cherries stay relatively the same. I thought this was really, really cool. And even if you've never seen like Gen AI code before, I'll show you real quick what's going on here. So the JavaScript code, that's the wrong file. Let me get over here. No, right here. This is all chart.js stuff. And then after I render it, I basically do an API call to some server-side code I wrote to ask for insights. And I pass it the sales data. The insights part is literally right here where I'm calling Gemini. I'm getting the sales data. I'm passing it right as a prompt. I used a system instruction that basically said you're provided sales data. You should return 3 to 5 insights about the product sold over time. That's literally all I had to do. And I take that pure text data out and just render it on the page. That was my first demo. I had 2 more after that, and I'll show you the third one to kind of skip ahead to the end here. I wanted something that was a bit more impactful visually. So let me show you that, and then I'll show you how I built it. So 3000, let me reload. Again, same data, a little bit too big. I tested on a higher resolution. I'll say that. Let me shrink my screen. Oh, that's doing nothing. That's a reset to 100. I could have made this a little bit smaller probably, but what I wanted to do was essentially have a card that gave the insight at like a high level. So donut sales consistently strong. Apple sales also good. And then banana sales are in a decline. And then more of a neutral one about cherry sales. And all I did for that in Gen AI, and all this is on my blog post, but I literally said, I want you to give me insights, but I want you to classify the insight as either a positive, negative, or neutral item. And so my result, and if we open up DevTools, because why not, and reload this, we'll let that work. It's doing the insights. And what happened is that it basically gave me, I'll make that a little bigger. For each insight, it just rated it positive, negative, and neutral. And that was 5 or 10 minutes more of code. Now, that's because I'm familiar with their API. I had some knowledge already, but ignoring the fact that this needs to be resized properly, I freaking love this combination of Gen AI and charting. I thought it was neat as heck. So that, my friends, is it. Question for y'all. I could do more charting. We could do Google charting next week, or I could actually talk about Gen AI. 'Cause I haven't talked about it yet. I've been if you follow me on my blog, anything I talk about won't necessarily be new to you, but you can see my smiling face, which is always a good thing. So I'm leaning towards doing maybe a Gen AI session, showing you Google's Gemini APIs, and we could figure out something to build. I really dig giving Gen AI numbers and having a talk about the numbers. I find that absolutely fascinating. Um, just like I've seen Gen AI talk about code, like my code, and I find its insights interesting. I don't necessarily want Gemini or any Gen AI solution to write code for me, but I kind of like getting the review back, which is cool. So yeah, no, I started this by saying I was asking you, like, no, we're gonna do Gen AI next session. It's gonna be cool AF, as the kids say. And one thing I could say about Scott and I, we're very much in tune with today's youths. We're skibbity toilet. We're Ohio. We have the finger on the pulse of today's kids. Absolutely. So, ending a few minutes early, which I think is okay. Thank you for everyone. Thank you all for the comments. People I didn't say hi back to. Hi, Nick. I'll show you for a second. Hey, Todd. Yeah, maybe I'll do Cold Fusion in December. Anyone else I didn't say hi to? Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for your attention. And have a great rest of your week. Have a great Halloween and be safe. And goodbye. One last comment. I am. I go for spooky. That's all good. All right. Thanks all and goodbye.